Hey guys. Hey, so I'm back. For those of you who are able to tune into the word study, I hope you were able to get a better understanding again of the homophones there, and there. And we're going to see a couple of them in our text today. And even after the text, we're going to use that information we learned to write. But let's get started. Today we're going to be looking at Beach Art. Very cool book. I love these books. Notice in this right-hand corner it says All About Series. For those of you, again, who have worked with me, we know that series means there's going to be a couple different books about all about. And in this book, well, first of all, who can tell me what genre this book would be? If you answered nonfiction, you are correct. You can tell by the live picture. And on the back, again, there's another live picture. And also, what I like about these books is it actually lists it for you. It says it is a nonfiction. And then this interesting word right here, I think you can see it. The word is expository. And I always tell my readers, think of the word explain, because that's what an expository text does. It's going to explain something. And in this case, it's going to explain beach art. So this book is entitled Beach Art by Julie Winterbottom. And so in this book, what do you think we're going to learn about? You're right. We're going to learn about beach art. And on the front, it really kind of wets your whistle to what it is that we're going to talk about. Okay, one of the things that is so helpful is we open up and we've got this table of contents. And a lot of times I like to read the table of contents to help you to know what you're going to be reading about, and also to direct you to the way the author has organized the text. In this table of contents, we see that the first thing that she's going to discuss is sand art. That's going to be found on page 2. The pile on page 6. Kinds of sand on page 9. Thinking about the sculpture, page 13. The shape of the sculpture, page 15. And final touches, page 22. Now, a lot of times when we're finished a text and we want to look up a certain question or highlight something that we've read, the table of contents is very helpful for that because it organizes the information for you so that you're able to go back into the text and find your answer. Okay, so we open up the book, and if you notice, the author was quite generous. He gave us beautiful pictures of the beginning of the sand art, and notice in these yellow bands, he actually gives us the headings for what the chapter is going to be about. And here it is, sand art. Okay, again, beautiful, generous pictures. And then I want to direct your attention to these labels that he puts over each of the pictures. That's so that you're able to identify immediately what's the highlighted point that he wants you to look at. Called a sidebar label, but very important part of the text. Okay, here, if you notice, the author has organized the text again with the yellow band, showing you we are going to switch chapters and again discuss new information. And so I'll do one more with you. Again, here we go again with kinds of sand. And so that is how he has chosen to lay out the text. Nice large pictures, yellow bands to direct you to the chapter titles. I also want to show you in the back of the book, we have all for art series. Sometimes the author hides a note on the back page. Sometimes we read it in the beginning. Sometimes we read it at the end. And in this case, we're going to read it in the beginning so that you're able to understand the series. And it says this book is one of several in a series about art that can be seen and appreciated outdoors by anyone who cares to look at it. It tells the story in words and pictures of an artist who makes sculptures using just sand and a few tools. There are going to be other books in this series as well that's going to come up with some pretty amazing things that people do. But for here and now, we're going to begin reading beach art. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do is actually hold the picture up for you so that you're able to read along with me. And then we're going to highlight some words as we do the reading as well. So we're only going to get to probably half of the book today, so bear with me and we'll figure this out as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead back open to the table of contents. I'm not going to read that again because I think we're pretty familiar now with the text. So we're going to go ahead and start. Going to open up the book, and I believe you can see the words. So I'll direct you right now to read, or you may read with me. One of the things we do practice in our groups is fluency. So maybe as I'm reading with you, you can see if you can stay with me. It's easy to build a sand castle at the beach. You just need sand, water, a shovel, and a pail. But what if you want to build something really big out of sand? How do you make it? And how do you keep it from falling down? Now again, this is my first page, so I hope you were able to read along with me and identify the words. Let's go ahead and turn the page. And I'm just going to try something real quick. Oh my goodness, that's much better. Okay. So with that, I'd like to take a look at this beautiful artwork. You can already see how large this artwork is just by looking at the man. I love how the picture really shows us the size of these incredible artworks. And if you notice just the lifelikeness of her eyes, it's just incredible. All right, so now I'm going to bring this text in here so you can read it. It says, can Jera, notice the pronunciation code, Jera, notice how that is so that you're able to understand his name. Make sculptures out of sand. Carl wins sand sculpture contests all over the world, and he knows exactly how to turn a pile of sand into art. Carl says that building giant sand art isn't that different from making a sand castle. You need to use a lot of water and pack the sand down hard. It's exactly what a kid does on the beach, says Carl. And if you notice the label down here, it says, Carl Jura carves details into one of his huge sand sculptures. And so it's really just quite fascinating. Okay, we have a new yellow tab indicating a new chapter, and it's called The Pile. I'm going to bring the book in. First, I want to show you. We can clearly see why it's called The Pile. So now the author is going to explain to us, because again, it's an expository text. So let's take a look at what he explains. Carl starts with a huge pile of sand, 10 to 15 tons of it. That's about as heavy as a school bus. Carl uses wood or plastic forms or shapes to hold the sand in place. These forms are like huge cups of pails. The forms allow Carl to build a really tall pile. Carl adds lots of water to the sand as he makes the pile. Water makes the grains of sand stick together. Sticky sand won't fall apart when Carl shapes it. So very, very, very interesting. Really getting an idea now of how he keeps the sand together. And with that, I'm going to bring my computer back around. I want to remind you that we are reading the beach art. It is in a series, which means there's going to be other informational and expository texts. I want to remind you it is a nonfiction. We see real life-like pictures, unlike if it was a fiction story, which isn't true. And I am going to close for today. Thanks for joining me. Tomorrow we'll pick up, do a review and pick up from page 6 and 7. Okay, So have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.